Whenever people used to ask me, do you see the glass half full or half empty? I feel really frustrated because I was always seeing it half empty. And there was this thought that I can't change that. That's just the way I am. But over time, I've seen how we can change the way we see things. And for me, that shift came through gratitude. Gratitude seems to be a buzzword these days. I see it everywhere, often with manifest. And that's because the two of them go hand in hand. The more you're grateful, the more you seem to be given things to be grateful about. It's kind of like a prosperous circle. That's because when you're grateful, it lifts your energy and your vibration, and you start to attract positive things. I've been practicing gratitude for the last 2 years, and now it actually seems easy for me to feel grateful. But that wasn't always the case. During a depression that lasted almost 5 years, a few people suggested that I start something that's known as a gratitude journal. And I was like, really? Because I didn't feel grateful for much of anything back then. But I promised them that I would write down 3 things that I was grateful for each day. Some days, all I could come up with was my shower, the taste of my coffee, and then getting back in bed at night. And even that was hard, because the idea is not just to write down 3 things, it's to actually feel grateful for them. But slowly, things actually started to shift, because throughout the day, I'd catch myself thinking, is that going to be one of my 3 things tonight? And in a way, being on the lookout for these things changed the way I move through the day. It could be really subtle, simple things, like the way the light was hitting the tree or the way the wind felt on my arms. I later learned that there's a name for these moments. They're called glimmers, and they're the total opposite of triggers. They're tiny, fleeting experiences that bring joy, calm, or peace. And the more you look for them, the more they appear. Because that's the thing, gratitude is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Eventually, without anything really changing in my life, things started to shift and I felt lighter. And sometimes I would even catch myself being happy, which at the time was a really rare thing. So is the glass half empty or half full for me now? Well, actually, it really depends. Like anything we're learning, it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But here's the thing, whereas before I found it always half empty, some days I actually really see it half full. Not because anything has really changed, but because I have changed. So if you're in a place right now where it's really hard to feel grateful, I pulled a card for you. Oh boy, the 10 of Wands. I love it when tarot throws me a curveball, because as you can see, this card is heavy. It speaks of burnouts, of burdens, and carrying too much. It's almost the opposite of gratitude. But the more I sit with this card, the more I can see how it makes sense. Because at the beginning, when you start practicing gratitude, it really can feel like hard work. Even the act of finding just 3 things can feel like a stretch some days. Believe me, I know. The 10 of Wands seems to be saying, yes, practicing gratitude might be hard at first, but that doesn't mean it's not worth doing. Because when you start practicing gratitude, you actually start to notice that there's light at the back of this card. And there's something else about this card. It's a 10, which means it's the end of the cycle. And to me, that's saying that if you're in the thick of it, you're probably very close to a shift. The heaviness might not lift overnight, but it will lift. And when it does, the 3 things you think about at night will no longer feel like a chore, and they'll come naturally. But at first, you do have to start, even if it feels fake, even if it feels heavy. Again, there's light at the end of this card. You just have to start walking towards it, even if it's just 1 step at a time. So on that, I'm wishing you lots of love and lots of laughter as you learn to find gratitude and joy in your day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next video.